these guys. We've seen them with the inception of 2004's Battlestar. These guys set the benchmark for that series, those series episodes. Battlestar Galactica, which came out back in the was fantastic in its inception. So without any further ado, I'm going to bring up Mr. Herbert Jefferson Jr., who portrayed Boomer, the lovely Ann Lockhart, Mr. Dirk Benedict, and this guy right here, yeah, Mr. Richard Hale! I'm going to go and shower.
Great, you did great. Yeah, I was going to say you need a shower, but
Who's got disagree?
I personally disagree. I take one shower a week. No, I take a shower in Montana. I take a shower every 4 days. I wash my hair, no matter where I am, once a week. This is a good advice about hair, because my career was my hair. So don't shampoo it more than once a week, because it strips all the mineral in the oil. And the more you shampoo, the more you have to shampoo. I feel like Vidal Sassoon. No, he was a friend of mine. But anyway, I could go on about hair, but hair there, hair today, gone tomorrow, as Yul Brynner said.
Oh, this one.
Okay, I'll be quiet.
Hi. Dirk will be giving his hair tips at the table.
I have other tips. I have tips. I have tips on tips.
Hi, y'all.
I feel tipsy.
Thank you all for coming here to visit with us. Thank you. You guys have any questions you want to ask us? Okay, well, I guess.
Show of hands.
Anybody have anything they want to say to us? Comments?
Criticism?
She doesn't like it when I do that. Why? He says I need to sit closer to you.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Ah!
Any hands for any questions? Right in the back over there with the red sleeve. That's all I can see. Oh, you're tiny. Hi, dearie.
Can you stand up so we
Yeah,
can
can you
hear
stand
you?
up on the chair, darling?
And be really loud, okay, honey?
Yeah.
What's my favorite color? Shall we go down the line? I'll let Richard handle that first. He's got his own microphone.
First of all, what's yours? Red? Really? But you're not wearing red.
Of course she is. She's
You
got cheese.
just can't see it.
I like emerald, blue, green. Really?
I like, I'm an earth color type guy. I mean, I tend to drift towards oranges, greens, browns, off red types, but if I had to choose one color above all, it would be any shade of blue.
I like red.
I like this color. I don't have a favorite color. I know. I like all colors. It depends on the time of the week and the hour of the day.
And your hair.
And my hair. Yeah. How's my hair look? Pretty good, right? Huh? Okay. Thanks. I worked on it this morning for about 2 hours. I travel with mirrors. I have 3 kinds of mirrors. So you get it from the side, from the back, from the top, and from the... Oh, I got hair stories. By the way, I once met Tony Curtis. He had hair stories. You know Tony Curtis? Tony Curtis was a hair guy. He was famous for his hair. You know, he started before Elvis. People wanted to have the hair like Tony Curtis. So we used to swap hair stories.
What I want to know is this real, Dirk?
No, it's not real. I mean, I thought everybody knew that. If it was real, I wouldn't have to work so hard. I have a set of wigs, like Shatner. Or Burt Reynolds. You notice how his hair changes? Burt Reynolds, because when you don't have
that's
hair...
right. You're right about that.
Sometimes it's straight, and then sometimes it sort of looks like a dead poodle.
Well, Shatner does that. He has...
Curly thing.
I want to know how you get away with the 1 bath a week thing, Dirk. Seriously. I'm glad I'm...
Well, I'll tell you, it's, body aroma comes from what you eat. So whatever kind of, so you can change the aroma of your, that's why, you know, the Native Americans always called the white people, you know, pig eaters, because we were heavy meat eaters, and we had a different smell than the natives did. So one of the things I noticed when I quit eating animal food back in 1971, 72 is I went home to see my mother in 1975, and she says, your clothes don't smell the same. I said, no, they don't stink like they used to. So if you put a piece of meat rots, it puts off a different kind of aroma.
Smokes 20
Yeah,
cigars a week, a day.
Right. Well, I do smell like
Have you ever smelled a cigar?
That's.
I love cigars too.
I do, but it's a wonderful smell for some people. Yeah. Anyway, so that's why I can get away with it. I don't have this. I don't have BO the way meat eaters do. I love this conversation. Fun. This is what I like to talk about. BO, hair. We'll get to dollar movements later. But this is right where I'm comfortable.
Fella, you had a question over here, the guy with the red print on the front of his shirt.
Question for Richard and then the rest of you. Between the two series, without picking a favorite, was either one more enjoyable to you and why? And for the rest of you, with the second series, did you watch the second series of Live? So.
Well, the first show, the most unenjoyable part was watching all the stream of beautiful ladies going in Dirk's motorhome. And wondering about, what about me? No. The new show, I 35 years ago, networks didn't get sci-fi. And I hate to say it, I think they still don't get sci-fi. Have you noticed that every space show is no longer on the air?
Firefly.
Star Trek, Firefly, Babylon 5, doesn't matter what it is. They still don't get it. But for me, I love the original show. I love the mythology, the backstory, the actors, everybody. But the trouble was, we had to basically throw it together. It was only supposed to be a 7-hour miniseries, right? So at the last minute, they turned it into a series. There wasn't time to really develop, I think, story arcs for the whole show. But the new show, for me, 35 years later, the networks had changed. They were much more open to edgier, provocative subject matter. So for me as an actor, the new show was probably the most extraordinary acting experience of my life. It really was.
Well, guys, Battlestar Galactica, the original, because that's the only one that I was a part of. I look at it as sort of a, someone said it was an unrequited love affair. We never really had a chance to show you what we could do with those characters that we created on that show. I miss it, and it amazes me when I walk down the street and travel anywhere in the world how many of you guys come up and say, hey, enjoyed Battlestar Galactica. This is 35 years later, thanks to you. Now, thank you. You can give yourselves a round of applause. Yeah, as it relates to the new show, I really have to say it's hard for me to be objective about. I'm very happy for all the young actors that have gotten their start on the show. I'm happy for all the people that have worked on the show. To be employed in this business is a major plus. But it's hard for me to be objective about those kinds of radical changes in a project that I had a part in creating. It really comes down to what you guys as fans think about it. I know it's gotten its following, it has a major fan base. The second part of the question was, did I watch it? We knew all about the radical changes that were going to be made to cross-gender casting, the darkness of the storyline. But I watched the first episode just to see what they'd done, what it looked like, what it sounded like. And after that, it didn't do anything for me. So I didn't tune in anymore. Until, of course, it was decided they were going to have the old skipper aboard. So I did watch when they brought Richard into the show and watched him do his thing. And fine actor, isn't he? You just got a fine job on that. But then again, you know, the show just doesn't do anything for me. For one thing, it's no longer a family show, as I look at family shows. It's not the type of show that we can, or for me anyway, that I'd want to sit down with my young daughter and grandparents to watch on a Sunday night. I'm not a prude, mind you, but without going into too much detail, I think you get where I'm going with this. It's not my cup of tea. It really comes down to what you guys as fans think about it. Okay?
Hi. To answer your question, which one I like better? Figure that one out, can't you? The new show, when it first premiered, I lived in a sort of rural area in Ventura County, and I had a dish, thing on my roof that didn't get the Sci-Fi Channel for like the first 2 years. So I did not see any of it, except if I was traveling and I was in a hotel room and it happened to come on, and I'd go, oh, and I can tell you that I saw 2 episodes that way and fell asleep. But later on, I did watch some of them, and when Richard came on, I watched it. And I found it to be well written and beautifully acted, and a very good show that was a completely different show from what we did. It was just a totally different show that just happened to have the same name. So it wasn't, I kind of didn't really compare one against the other. So there you go.
We've got to move on. That's one question. We've spent 25 minutes. Let's have another question. Jasmine. What?
Have I ever worn gel in my hair? Any
I
of us?
think we both had gel.
Yes.
I've had fingers in my hair that had gel on them. And raspberry jam.
Nope, not me. I've been natural my whole life.
Come on, Herb. You've never used any oil or stuff to make it look shiny and glistening?
Not gel.
No, not gel, but
Gel.
hair products. Come on.
My hair products.
Oh, she said gel. You're right.
She
Okay.
said gel.
All right.
No, not Jerry curl stuff. That's what I
Dixie
mean. Dripping all over my shoulders. No, thank you.
Okay, let's have another.
One over here. Question.
Okay.
New projects that we're involved in.
I don't have any. I have nothing. I have this moment with you. I can't talk about the past or the future. I can talk now, but that's all I have. Oh, God. And hopefully this lady's gonna have, no, never mind. But, no, I can't think of anything.
I have a movie that I did last summer called Dakota's Summer. That it's with Keith Carradine and Glenn Turman, and I just found out it's been accepted into the Dallas Film Festival in the family films department. It's a very sweet story about a teenage girl who finds out she's adopted and has a lot of angst about that, and so they send her to Grandma and Grandpa's horse ranch for the summer to get her braids together, and Grandma and Grandpa are me and Keith Carradine, which we thought was pretty funny because we've known each other since we were teenagers. I also do a lot of voice work anonymously. I've been doing it since the mid-'70s, and you've probably heard me 10,000 times without even knowing it. And my current job, which we just got renewed for a 3rd season, is Chicago Fire. Do any of you guys watch Chicago Fire? I do all the background. Wheezing, screaming, coughing, women being pulled out of burning buildings. But,
I remember that.
yeah, I was good at that, wasn't I? But, actually, most specifically, basically, and I do it anonymously with no billing. I am the voice of the dispatcher on Chicago Fire. I announce every disaster. Truck 81, ambulance 61, collapsed building 429 Wacker Street, battalion 25. It comes through like a loudspeaker, like it's kind of tinny sounding and stuff, but that's me, the voice of disaster.
Well, guys, most recently I worked on done a lot since Battlestar Galactica, 2 other series that were short-lived. But last December, what was it, October, November, we wrapped on something called Star Trek Renegades. You guys all Star Trek Renegades? You guys remember Star Trek of Gods and Men? They're both low-budget pieces, projects for the internet. And Star Trek of Gods and Men, I portrayed again, you know, in the sci-fi vein. I portrayed a renegade, not a renegade, but no, I was not a Klingon. I might have played a Klingon. But the character I played was Captain Galt. He was a revolutionary starship captain. And in this one, Star Trek Renegades, I'm doing a cameo as Admiral Satterley. And they asked me to come back and do a pop, and some nice bunch of people I'd worked with before. Nice team effort, good feel. And I said, sure. So I go in and I appear, I get blown up, and I went home. That's it. Yeah, the end. End credits. That's most recent.
It's always, you know, when you ask actors what have they been doing, it's the worst question you could ever ask us, right? It truly, because, you know, most of the time actors are looking for work, right? They're waiting for opportunities, and but I kind of learned a few years back to stop waiting for stuff, so I started putting things together. So I've been writing and directing, producing, putting various things together, and I've been involved in a whole slew of really wonderful projects. And the funny part was, when I started producing and directing and writing, I got invited to be part of a lot of other productions that people are doing. You start meeting other producers and directors. So I just did a pilot with Malcolm McDowell, and I don't know if you like steampunk. Anybody like steampunk? Just did a steampunk pilot called Cowboys and Engines, which is right now being pitched to the networks. And anybody like Mad Max? Yeah? Vernon Wells plays the bad guy in Mad Max. Is producing this new pilot for a new series called After the Harvest. And I get to play this badass priest. If anybody remembers Book of Eli with Denzel Washington, it's a little bit like that guy. And then I'm doing, and I've always been a Star Trek fan, okay? From the very beginning when I was a young actor in New York. And I'm going to play a Klingon general in Exonar. And I don't know how many of you have been hearing about this, but it's an amazing, seriously, these fan productions started out kind of very rudimentary, you know, and fans were putting, you know, their efforts into it, mostly fans. And then as it has grown, now more and more professionals are involved, and the skill level has grown, and the budgets have grown because of Kickstarter and campaigns where the fans can support these productions with their own money, you know, $10, $20. And so they're doing this Exnar thing, which I read the script, and I thought, this is a movie. You know, how are they going to do this? And it takes place right before the original Trek, and it's the Battle of Exonar, the big battle between the Klingons and the human beings. And I get to play this really amazing, almost like Kutsumoto. Is it Kutsumoto or Kutsumoto from Last of the Samurai? People remember that movie? Well, it's very much a character in that vein as him, and I love the script. I love the production value they're putting into it and the quality of the actors, and we're starting to film in the next couple of months. So if you really want to look and see what's going on with it, check, it's Exanar, A-X-A-N-A-R, and see what you think, okay? All right. Well, you know, it's an evolution with Klingons, if you notice, right? All the different things they're doing. So if you go over to my Facebook page, they did some makeup tests on me. And they actually have me up there. It's not a completed job yet, but it's on the way. But let me know what you think. If you go over to my Facebook page, it should be up there. If you go over to the Exonar site, you'll also see a picture of me. But yeah, there's forehead and that stuff, but I think it's a more of a modified look that they're going for.
I'm sorry,
Yeah, go
Richard,
ahead.
I wanted to make sure that all of you knew how, because I'd like to know this myself. The last convention we did, I thought you said eczema.
No.
Dirk and I started scratching on here. Please spell Exonar for us, for all of us. So
For those of you that are going to check it out, it's A-X-A-N-A-R.
Just thought I'd add that.
Somebody had a question back there.
What was one of your most memorable moments on the show while you were doing the show, and what was it like working with Lauren Green?
God, glad you asked that. I'll let it start at one end or the other. I love talking about Lauren. Go on.
My most memorable moment was working with me. I loved my most memorable moment was when I was alone with myself in my dressing room, looking in the mirror going, yes! No.
You think he's kidding,
I can't
right?
believe that. When I got a motorhome, that was pretty memorable. I was living in a little cubicle with the extras when the show started. And then we went on the air, and I got all this fan mail, so Universal gave me a motorhome like Richard and Lauren had. I don't know if you guys got one. I got one. I got one. And thanks to all you that wrote fan letters. I think that's what did it. I certainly didn't. All of a sudden, there was a motorhome, and I immediately started living in it because I had an $80 a month apartment above a garage in Westwood, a really good location. So that was my most memorable moment, was when I had my own motorhome, and it was like a palace. The rest I've forgotten about, but that motorhome, I had a lot of fun in that motorhome. I could write another book called My Motorhome. My Motorhome Years. There's life with a motorhome and life without a motorhome. I'll tell you that. Yeah, and I've lived both of them. Okay, next.
I never got a motorhome.
You didn't?
No, I didn't have a motorhome. I had a nice little two-bagger,
Yeah, I got it. No, I haven't had a motorhome since, man.
I didn't need one. It was all right.
Did he ever invite you to his?
What?
It was too crowded in there, okay?
When I'm alone, it's too crowded. When I'm with my separate selves, my many selves.
I kind of would have, geez, it's hard to pick a, memorable moment. Just getting to know everybody and becoming friends. I knew her before I came into the show, and I knew Dirk before I came into the show, because we'd met doing stage together, although in two different productions.
At different times.
Yeah.
It's like we went to the same college.
In the same theater, but
Not
his show
in the
was,
same production. No.
you were either ahead of us, and we
Could
were
never get into her production.
And so,
I wanted, well,
it's my turn.
but you brought back memories of Hawaii.
I know, it was in Hawaii. Anyway, when I came in, it felt like such a family to me, which was what was such a lovely, memorable moment for me, because Lloyd Bridges played my dad. I had gone to kindergarten, first and second grade with his daughter Cindy, and so I had play dates at their house. It was like he was like a dad to me. And also our cinematographer, dear Benny Coleman, had shot Lassie. So I had known him since I was 4 years old. So that's kind of my memorable moment, is being immediately accepted into a family that felt very, very warm.
Well, guys, I'm with Ann when she says it's kind of hard to pin down one part that was very exciting in Galactica. For me, it was the people as well. You have to understand, working with Lauren and working with Lloyd Bridges. Let me tell you something. As a boy growing up on Sundays, when I was in my early teens, long before I ever considered theater arts and this industry as a chosen profession. On Sunday nights, the family would get together after dinner and we'd all come together and certain shows that we watched together, and one of them was Bonanza. Okay? Now, think about what it would be like for you to 10, 12, 15 years after that, to go to work on a piece of film, on a new television pilot rather, and your name is on the same call sheet with the man that you grew up with. That's what it was like working with Lorne. To top it all off, guys, we also worked with the likes of Fred Astaire, was a guest star on the show. Okay? Rehearsing with Fred Astaire. Okay? For those of you who remember, he played Dirk's long-lost dad. And who else did we have? We had Paul Fix from the old John Ford, Ann Jeffries, Ray Milan, Academy Award winning dad, Bobby Van, and what was his name who played the Tin Man, not the Tin Man, but the Ray Bolger. For any of you who don't remember the name Ray Bolger, remember the Scarecrow in Wizard of Oz. Patrick McNee. He's more of a contemporary though than not. Patrick, I guess the Avengers was pretty much a grown-up when the Avengers came out. But what I'm getting at is that
Brett Eklund. You have no idea what it's like to look at the call sheet and see your name on the same thing with Brett Eklund.
Yeah. And to top it all off without getting long-winded, Lorne was probably, that was one of the great highlights in my career, was working with the likes of Lorne Greene. He was very much like the man you saw. He became kind of like an adopted uncle, adopted dad for us all. Took us all under his wing. And I'll pass the mic on down to the skipper over here.
Well, I think, yeah, I think all of us, it's always an amazing experience to grow up with watching actors on shows, but I think, if you watch Bonanza growing up, Lorne Greene was the father of all fathers, right? The father every son would love to have, and here I was getting to play the son of Lorne Greene. And you have to understand, first day on the set, you don't know anybody, and first days are scary. You're getting paid all this money, and you have all this production value, and you're wondering, my God, how do I live up to this expectation, right? And, meeting Lorne Greene, an icon in television at that time, and playing his son, the thought is, what's that going to be like? And how's it going to feel working with him? And is he going to accept me? And I had not met him prior to working on that. When I worked on Streets and I replaced Michael Douglas, I got to meet Carl Mullen, went out to lunch, all that stuff. But I had never met Lorne. So walking up to Lorne and everybody, that big booming voice, that big personality, and yet the most down-to-earth, genuine human being you could ever ask to meet. And from the moment I met him, I felt this chemistry, this relationship, this warmth. And I'm sure every actor will tell you, we all thought it was just us, but he invited everybody into his family. Christmas, bar mitzvahs, birthdays, didn't matter what it was, we all came over to his house. So he became, in a sense, the father of the show. And that was one of my greatest joys. And then the other two, I would have to say, other than working with Mr. Starbuck over here, was getting to kiss Jane Seymour. And Lighthearted. And I'm trying to remember, how many times did we, just once? Only once.
We got one kiss.
Was it like a real kiss or just like a little teeny?
It was a real good kiss.
It was a real kiss,
One
right?
kiss in the last.
So how was it for you?
Oh God, I still dream about it. Sometimes I actually get the show out and watch it. Just out of nostalgia.
Anyway, we loved it. Seriously. It was, you have to remember, it was long overnight shoots, 18-hour days, sometimes 7-day week shoots. So we all became one big extended family, truly. And actors are always moving on to other shows. It was nice to stay put for a while, get to know people, and become a family. And I think being part of a family of actors, working together to create something wonderful, best feeling in the whole world.
You know what? We got to
Yeah.
kiss some more though too.
We did what?
Love American style.
Oh wait, we did.
We did do a Love American style
Wow,
together
I forgot.
afterward.
Yeah.
We kissed some more in that too. I should get that out and watch it.
Yes. Yes.
I grew up with the okay, when the new show came on, and it came to certain spots in the show, I really had a problem. So my question is, how did you feel about Boomer and Starbuck being changed to female characters?
You don't really want to ask that question.
I don't talk about
I
it.
thought we asked.
I don't talk about it.
I thought we kind of answered that in the first time around with the new show. We knew what the changes were going to be. That's showbiz, you know. That's just showbiz. The girl is a very, 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 very talented woman. Of course, we're disappointed that it went in that direction. Those of us who played the originals, and we get that all the time. We catch that all the time and try to tie that in with the entire, my feelings about the entire reimagined series. But a very, very talented young lady in Grace Park, and she's gone on to do some very, very fine work since then. I hope that you understand how we just...
I wrote an article about how I feel. It's called Starbuck, Lost in Castration. And it's available online if you go find it. I know, because I get a lot of hate mail from the feminists of the world, so there you go.
Wait, so
All the Katie
Stand up.
Sackhoff fans send me fan mail.
this little young lady has been waiting to ask a question for a very
Little
long
lady in
time.
the... Please
Could
stand
you
up.
stand up
You
so we
stand
can
on your
see
chair,
how
darling.
cool you look?
I tell you what, sweetheart, come up here so everyone can see you. Look at that little outfit. She spent all day here. Come on.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, now you turn around now. Go, don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. Everyone out there loves you. And they want you to do well. Now, can you just say what your question is right into the microphone? Don't be nervous.
What was your first role?
What was my very first role as an actor? Okay, now watch this. Don't fall off. This is going to be funny. Someone was talking about this the other day. The very first time I got up on stage, I almost told you this when we spoke on St. Patty's Day. I sang in choirs and I sang with little groups. But the very first time I got up on stage alone to sing was at St. Patty's Day, I think I was 9 years old. And I sang for the Kiwanis Club at the dinner, St. Patrick's Day dinner, the Kiwanis Club sponsored at the YMCA in Jersey City, New Jersey. And I sang Over in Killarney, solo. That was the very first time.
Just
the very
never
first
thought
role.
of you as an Irish tenor.
I think you'd like that. All right. The very first time that I did a leading role in a play, say for an extra or an angel in a Christmas play, was when I did the leading role in a production, in an elementary school production, 7th grade production of Irving Berlin, in the title role of Irving Berlin.
Do you remember?
I think she likes that.
You are so versatile, Herbert.
For any of you who don't remember who Irving Berlin, I think of the composer of the songs, "In Your Easter Bonnet, with all..."
Oh, he wrote hundreds and hundreds
Yeah,
of
what a nice
It's
guy.
a good old summertime. And
Does that answer your question, sweetheart?
Yes.
Thank you so very much. Give her a hand for her little outfit. and the courage it takes to get up here in front of a whole bunch of people. All right? Thank you, sweetheart.
Way over there. I see you way over there.
Great question. I don't think I've ever
By the
told
way-
those two stories in a panel like this.
Did you hear that voice, by the way? That's a good voice, wasn't it? I've never heard you sing before. That was great.
Thank you. I told you I was a singer, you know. We sing, we dance, we train.
Go ahead.
Want to see me in a ballet? I do
Your
ballet,
viper
modern
jacket.
dance, mime.
Cool viper jacket.
Has there ever been any idea that someone wanted to produce a Battlestar Galactica animated series? And if so, would the four of you be interested in doing voices for it?
I think that's a great idea, by the way. I really do.
Actors like the work. And my answer to that is sure, why not? Make
What
me an
did you
offer.
have in mind, by the way?
I would love to see an animated Galactica show, and, you know, because I do so much voice work and I do animation. I'd be thrilled to do it, but then, you know, my criteria for work pretty much is as long as I don't have to be naked or worship the devil, what time do I show up? And believe me, there are not a lot of parts for old lady naked devil worshippers, so I don't have to say no.
What do you mean?
Yes, sir. Gentleman in the back there.
Question, somewhere like halfway through the season, Nina, I think it was Maren Jensen, just disappeared, and on the internet, I think it was like a constant thing. What happened?
The only thing
Left the show or left the industry? Well,
She
people.
seemed like a main character, and then she was always there with you and Adama, and then all of a sudden she just disappeared from the show, and I was just curious.
They were always shifting our characters around. It was the first season of our show. We want to find out who works best, with whom. If you notice in the very beginning, the relationship between Starbuck and Boomer, it was usually the two of us went out on missions. And then about halfway through, those missions they tended to team Starbuck up with Apollo a little bit more, and then Boomer was left in reserve, if you recall, right? I'm thinking it may have been the same type of thing, just trying to find what was working for the show and what types of mixes were working, character type mixes were working best for the show. Maybe someone else has a different opinion, but.
The only thing I was going to say is that Maren pretty much left the business after the show ended. I think she did 2 movies, and then that was it. And I she and I passed messages back and forth through mutual friends, and she's quite happy. She lives back east and became quite a successful businesswoman. Yeah. She invented some kind of cream or something,
Right, that's
like
what I
face
did too.
cream,
Right.
and sold it for like a
Yeah.
lot of money to like Estee Lauder or something like that.
Okay, good to hear it.
Yeah, and she has a son who's Maren's son's probably like 21 or something right now. She, a really long time ago, she used to go out with Don Henley for a couple of years. And my son's best friend in high school is Ben Schmidt, who was Timothy Schmidt's son. So she and Henley are still in touch, and Timothy and Jean and I are still in touch. So that's how those messages get passed along.
Yeah. Hey, you actually were.
Are you a Shriner? Are you that, huh? Look at this guy. I've been looking at you since this thing started.
Go ahead.
Oh, thank you, yeah. Oh, we do? March 1st, wow.
Hey,
It's a
Dirk.
good day. You know who else? Justin Bieber. I just learned that, I'll tell ya. I can play, I'm so excited by that. Finally.
We'll be getting
What
you
was
some
your question?
eggs
What was your-
later, so you can throw them at somebody.
My question is, I was a big fan of the A-Team. Which show was your favorite show between the two?
Which show what? Oh,
A-Team and Battlestar.
no, you can't ask that question. That's like saying, your son asking your parents, which do you love best, me or my sister? I mean, you know, and besides, I've always loved whatever I'm doing, or whomever I'm doing. What is that song about? If you can't be with the one you love the one you're with. So that's pretty much. So whatever one I was with is what I love most. Now, so the next one will be the one that I. You know, funny thing. My birthday, March 1st, I was alone in Fillmore, Utah, driving back to Montana. Huge snowstorm, very cold then. It was very cold. It was about 5 above zero. I pulled in there. It's called the Paradise Motel. And Fillmore blowing and snowing, and I go in and I get a room. And there's a little greasy spoon across the street. I walk over there and go in, and I had something to eat. I don't know, I think there wasn't much that I... And then I went home. So the day before I came here, I got in the fan room. This one looked interesting because it was so light. There was obviously no photos in there for me to sign or nothing. So I opened it. And it was a letter from the girl that waited on me on my birthday, March 1st, and she wanted to know, what the hell are you doing alone in Fillmore on your birthday? She says, you look so sad and lost. And I said, exactly, there I was on my birthday, alone in a snowstorm in Fillmore, Utah. And that's all you need.
And it works for him every time. Yeah. No, I've heard that story before.
I had nobody, that was
So that's how he gets girls to write him letters.
Exactly.
And say, please, when your next birthday,
No, please, don't write any letters.
Yeah,
No,
there you
don't
go.
write me any more letters. I don't need any more letters.
Could be Nick.
Question for Eric, just kind of curious where this came about. There was a photo that popped up with you a couple years ago at Starbucks having Starbucks in Starbucks.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought they paid me, Universal. That's when the show was first coming out, and so I got them. I'll tell you, I got them to pay me over $5,000 to do that little thing because they said, well, we want you to do it. It's going to be so much fun. It's the new. I said, well, what's going to be fun about me going and talking about the girl that's going to play the character? So I finally said, no. They got really angry. I'm making a long story short, and they paid me the money, and I showed up. So I said, well, I'm going to make this interesting. So I brought some cigars, and so I had that open line kind of Starbucks by a Starbucks at a Starbucks, and of course. She didn't get it, and nobody really laughed. They were so uptight. I thought, oh my God, they were all, and then I was going to teach you how to smoke a cigar, but that got really weird. It's like, I can't do it. No, describing how to smoke a cigar is not something you do on camera with a lady.
Oh, one moment, yeah, I'll be here.
I got a question. They did this thing with Star Trek, where they had all the new characters went away, and they kind of went back and started beyond where the first show started. Is there any possibility that you guys might think of maybe doing something like that, and then introducing some new characters coming in to take over for you guys?
They were, I wrote several books that actually did that, but then they had, I believe, Tom DeSanto and Brian Singer, who were going to do a continuation series, by the way. And by the way, that was already sold on Fox. They had made a deal, and it got...
I was hired to be in it. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I've been with Santa the whole time. My bags are packed. We were 6 weeks away from going to Vancouver to do the show.
That's right, as that's here. 9/11.
And then they took it off. They changed it because Brian Singer got called back on X-Men 2, the movie. They were having problems with it, and Fox dropped the network deal, and then they picked up Firefly in place of it. And as you saw what they did with Firefly, if you're a Firefly fan, after 9 episodes or whatever it was, they took it off. So I don't think Battlestar would have lasted either. I think Fox just did not,
Didn't get it.
I think you should find somebody that knows the show, knows the success of the show, that you can tell them, this is great hit. This is the show that it's like Star Trek. Maybe Star Trek and you guys are probably the best and the most because everybody can relate back to your show and Star Trek.
Well, you know what they're doing now with the Star Trek, right? They're doing these fan episodes, and they've really grown, become more and more professional. And, you know, we're kind of putting this out, is that they should do some Battlestar fan films to fill in that space and really do something with that. So if there's any filmmakers out there, yeah. Right, I agree.
I just had this like really silly story that was like, I just wanted to tell you guys really randomly. You know, I do this dispatcher on Chicago Fire, and I get to see a lot of the show on the screen while I'm doing the voice work. So I don't really watch all of the episodes, okay? I was on an American Airlines flight the other day, and the in-flight entertainment was Chicago Fire, an episode from the first season. So, and mostly when I do, like, you know, the coughing and the wheezing and the people on the street and stuff, there's all these other people in the scenes, so I don't see the scenes that are just between two people. Anyway, I'm thinking, oh good, I'll listen to myself. So I'm reading my book, I have my headphones on, and sure enough, I hear myself come through the loudspeaker, because I was curious as to how they electronically futzed it, right? I thought, oh, well, that was interesting. So I go back to reading my book, and I'm kind of halfway listening, and there's a scene of one of the firefighters, and he has a girl over at his apartment. And I'm not really watching it, and I hear the girl say, no way, you were a Battlestar fan? So I look up, and this is so bizarre, and on the screen, this guy goes, oh man, totally, yes, I paid $300 for that on eBay, and it's probably worth a fortune now. And what does it cut to? One of you guys' helmets sitting on a table. And the girl goes, are you kidding me? Is that the double version signed by Hatch and Benedict? And I'm going, this is in the middle of a Chicago Fire episode. It was like so random and so weird. And then at the end of the show, there's a burglary. Somebody burglarizes this guy's apartment, and he comes home and he goes, they got my helmet, and so it gets stolen. I just thought that was so weird that, like, obviously some prop guy at Universal went, oh look, here's an old Battlestar Galactica helmet. Let's just write this into a Chicago Fire script.
I play it and replay it late at night over and over.
You've been waiting a long time. Go on, sweetheart.
How did you feel when you did movies?
How do I feel when I do movies? Does that mean, do you mean, how do we feel emotionally? What does it feel like?
Richard.
What does it feel like? He's always like that, too, guys. He was like that when we were shooting the show. How do I feel when I feel it's a lot of fun. You can see we get to work with a lot of wonderful people. Do you sometime when you're doing theater or doing plays or anything creative in school or in church, maybe you'll get an idea of what it feels for us.
Do you play pretend? Do you like to play pretend? Well, if you play pretend, it's very fun, and that's what it feels like.
I hope that answers your question, sweetheart. Thank you.
I don't know how much time we have.
I think we have to swing on out here. I want to...
Yeah, they're giving us the hub.
Listen, before we go to something I always like to say before we fold our tents is a thank you to all you guys, because without fandom there's no need for film, no need for the conventions, no need for us to do this panel without you guys tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in, watching us on TV, and not turning the channel.
Thank you.
You guys have questions that we didn't get to, come find us. You know, we'll come and find our tables. We'll talk to you and answer your questions.
I have to go take a shower now. Please. That was so stressful. I had to sit there quietly. They're leaving now, I can talk, so if you want to stick around, I'll be here for about 30 minutes.